Hello there, John here. Welcome back to PC Bytes. Finally getting a chance to get back into doing some stuff with my test rig, and the first order of business will be to upgrade to Windows 11. A lot of people out there are still using Windows 10 or even an earlier operating system, so I'm going to try to answer the question today of why Windows 11? Back when Windows 10 was released, there was a lot of talk that that would be the last version ever of Windows. It would just be Windows 10 forever, and they would continue doing updates to make sure that the operating system stayed current. Well, that was never practical to begin with, as we've seen with Apple on how they've had to change their operating system over time. As new and improved hardware came out in order to make new features available for it, it was no longer compatible with older hardware. Same thing would happen with Windows as processing, graphics, memory continue to improve. There'll be new features that we don't even think about today of what it might be that will be able to utilize the latest and greatest hardware, but won't be compatible with older systems. So the idea that Windows 10 would never have to have another version was just never realistic to begin with. But the question today is, why now? What's Microsoft doing, and why do they want to go to a new version at this point in time? On this slide, you can see the intervals between the releases of Microsoft's foundational product. Windows 2 was released in 1987, and the breakthrough Windows 3 debuted in 1990. 5 years later came the highly regarded Windows 95, and 6 years after that was the seminal Windows XP release. When XP was finally replaced by Vista in 2006, the pace of change started picking up speed. Windows 7 came out in 2009 to help ease the pain of the poor Vista acceptance. Then in 2012, with touchscreens all the rage, Windows 8 was introduced. Thankfully, Windows 10 came out in 2015 to undo a lot of the ill will created by Windows 8. Windows 10 has had a great run. I like the OS. In any modern rig, it feels snappy and responsive. It doesn't appear to hog resources. I like it. But now, 6 years on, here comes Windows 11. So why would Microsoft want to release a new version? Well, there are two major reasons that I can think of: support and marketing. From a marketing perspective, you're always looking to try to sell more product, right? So you want to have the latest, the greatest, the fastest, the newest, the shiniest. And that's what Windows 11 is, or that's how Microsoft is trying to position Windows 11. It gives them the opportunity to cross-sell that with a lot of other products and services within the Microsoft lineup, such as the Surface products that they have, the Azure Cloud services that they sell, Microsoft 365 subscriptions, and even Xbox and Xbox Game Pass. So all of these are a way for Microsoft to not only put a light on the new operating system, but put a light on the other products and services they have and try to generate more sales. The second reason is support. By continuing to support the existing operating system, it starts becoming more and more expensive as you're supporting new features on older hardware. And it becomes harder and harder to maintain that. As we talked about, or as I mentioned, it's difficult to maintain that compatibility as hardware improves. So by deprecating the old operating system, you are able to start limiting your support costs for those older machines, and you're able to focus your resources on the newest machines. And Microsoft, like any other business, is not only trying to increase revenue, but also limit expenses. So by having a new operating system with a finite amount of hardware that they have to support, that enables them to better quantify and better limit their support expenses. From a timing perspective, Windows 11 started the public beta last summer. They actually released the software not long thereafter, last fall, with the first release. Overall, there aren't any striking differences cosmetically in the operating system. The taskbar is now centered, and there's a couple other visual differences, but there's not a major change. The biggest change for Microsoft was for them to improve security, which also translates to them trying to limit their support costs, right? The more secure they can make the operating system, the happier their enterprise customers are going to be, and the more likely those enterprise customers are going to buy more and more copies of the operating system. So to do this, Microsoft went with a secure boot requirement for the OS that requires TPM 2.0. TPM, which stands for Trusted Platform Module, is supposed to make it more difficult for unauthorized users to access the system. Whether or not this is the case, time will tell, but Microsoft is certainly betting on it. For me, I look forward to updating my rig to Windows 11 and running some comparisons and some benchmarks to see how the system operates under Windows 11 compared to how it operated under Windows 10. So please stay tuned. In a future video, I'll be doing that. Appreciate you watching. If you're finding these videos useful, please consider liking and subscribing. And I hope to see you on the next one.